The best axe for you is not just based on your height. It has to do with your reach, wingspan, your ape index, which is your reach in comparison to your height, and many other factors such as your general physical ability. So here we'll overanalyze exactly what your levers and body mechanics mean for the best axe for you. Wooden handle or synthetic, wide profile, thin profile, splitting, chopping. Try to get to all of it. As for length, generally speaking, the length of one of your arms is a good size for an axe. But if your wingspan is longer than your height, you're going to be closer to the ground when you're striking on the ground. Easy way to measure this, middle finger to middle finger, get a tape measure. Can't really hold it out straight. I got 76 inches, 71 inches height. I'm maybe 6 foot in boots, 5'11" without them, unless I've shrunk more, with a 6'4" wingspan. Now, I don't have particularly long fingers or super long arms. Your shoulder width also plays into that, the width of your clavicles, but it's a starting point. This would be most noticeable if you're using a taller chopping block to split wood, or if you're bucking wood on the ground, mostly for splitting. The issue here is if I use a long bar that somebody that was 6'4" might choose to use, someone who's 6'4" with a 6'4" ape index wingspan, it'd kind of be like if I'm with my wingspan and I drop down a few inches in height. Now, if you have a high chopping block, what you're going to do is you're going to have to get further back from it, and you're going to split further up, which you're going to have more overstrikes. You're not going to get the full range of the motion. Most people have a +0, negative, minus, +1 inch ape index. If I gained a few more inches, the entire movement becomes different. Now, this is probably a good height. If your main goal is just delivering force, you might find that with a smaller handle, you can actually deliver more. Think like a catapult. Especially if you're doing any type of windmilling with a very long-handled maul, you're going to be limited by how much centrifugal force you can produce if you have a heavy axe with a long handle and you can't really swing it in the full power band, I guess I'll call it. Ooh. The heavier the axe or maul, the less you want to do of this pivot, the more you want to do of almost keeping your arm straight and riding that outer power band, basically simulating centrifugal force, simulating those Olympic dudes. Now, if I'm winding up with a heavy axe or a maul and I have to do this, I'm losing a lot of force. The heavier the axe is, the more you're going to put in your arms, and you're not going to deliver as much force as objects in motion, staying in motion. The difference turns between this type motion to that. I'm not sure if that makes sense. Which brings me to another important topic, is if you have any type of hook, palm swell on the belly, whatever you want to call it. I love these. Now, if you have a straight-handled double bit axe, sometimes they don't have a palm swell, and your grip is a lot more than you realize with an axe, especially if you're trying to get that centrifugal force. Like I said, at the end of the movement, you can whip it with a shorter handle or smaller axe, but most of the force is coming from me just counterpulling on this. If you don't have a little hook or a palm swell, you're relying on grip strength, and it's a big difference. If you have a bigger hook, you can let it go further away from your body and keep your arm straighter and rely just mostly on your lats to deliver the force. If you're felling a tree, you're going to have a lighter axe in general. It's not that big of a difference. The biggest caveat to a small short-handled bar for felling trees or even splitting is the danger that comes with it. I've seen one of the best axemen on YouTube using this very axe felling a tree. The shorter the handle is, the closer you are to it, the more this axe particular likes to ricochet and bounce off. I think he cut himself in the leg. Other people have too with this very axe. And for bucking, if you have a log up here, it's great, but then you'd have to bend over more. The plus side is I can swing this axe twice as fast for sure. As someone using a 36-inch axe and just slamming it. If you're using a chopping axe, that long of a handle, no matter how hard you're slamming it, you're not getting it that much deeper than I'm getting it from here. But I'm just blasting through it. Apparently, I have more Neanderthal in my DNA than 96% of the world. I have a bone on the back of my head that I guess nobody else really has. I'm fine with it being called ape index. My ribs are literally sitting on my hips right now. If you're built like a Neanderthal, you gotta swing an axe like a Neanderthal, I suppose. We'll get into technique more in a different video. Besides handle length, two main other things: the profile or the type of axe and the type of handle you want. If you're chopping a tree down, you want a narrow bit, a felling axe or a chopping axe. If you're splitting wood, you want the bit to flare out a little more. If you're really splitting tough wood, you can get them all. Mostly just get it as a sledgehammer that you can also split thick stuff with. Now, I have a lot of wooden axes, but they're not out here. You know why? Because I'm afraid to leave them in the elements. If you get a wood axe, you got to baby it. I have not babied this at all. As far as shock in your wrists go, I actually have carpal tunnel. Nothing hurts my wrists or makes them more numb than using a push mower or a reciprocating saw. Hot take, I like synthetic handles as far as shock absorption goes, but I also like wood. If you're asking yourself, what should you get, wood or synthetic? Then the answer is synthetic, because I can't count how many times I'm even just an acre away from shelter where I have a wooden axe and I'm running back inside. Rain comes out of nowhere, Florida. You leave your axe out for a day, you could have problems. Wooden handles are great though for the way you can customize them, rehang them if they do crack. I like both, but I'd say if you're just getting one axe that you want to use, leave outside, get a synthetic handle. You're not less of a man. More on the bit shape, if you're splitting wood and you're just trying to do it fast and be productive, Fiskars X27 is a good go-to, especially if you're up north and you're chopping, I don't know, Doug fir. I'm sure they have hard stuff up there, but it seems like all they're doing is splitting straight grain stuff. This is rotten pine. This is probably, you never need them all for something like this. Fiskars is good enough that if you don't have it too sharp, you can split the easy stuff and you can also split the hard stuff. This is just for demonstration.